Live from the rooftop of the Hermann London Real Estate Group in beautiful downtown Maplewood, it's the St. Louis Realtor Podcast with your host, Adam Kruse.
Welcome everyone to St. Louis Realtor Podcast live here from the Hermann London Real Estate Group in beautiful downtown Maplewood, Missouri. This is podcast 11, and we have an exciting guest I'm about to introduce and tell you about. I wanted to thank you for listening. Remind you to check out our website for links and photos and to all the different things that we talk about. And wanted to invite everyone to our yearly Cinco De Mayo party that we have here at the office. You can look for information about that on our website too. But I'm excited, and I'm just going to jump right into it because we have one of St. Louis's best bloggers, top realtors, and from what I hear, a really good realtor. And her name is Dawn Griffin. She's from Circa Properties. Welcome, Dawn.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I'm glad to have you today, and I'm sure that this whole podcasting experience is new to you, kind of like it is new to me, but I'd like you to sort of introduce yourself and tell me a little bit about you.
I'm Dawn Griffin. I'm with Circa Properties. I have been an agent since 2004.
Oh, wow.
And I am the mother of two very small children who are apparently averse to sleep because I am up all night.
So are you a night person or a morning person?
No, I'm a morning person. This is killing me.
And so you get up early still, and then you work all day, and then the kids want to stay up all night?
They just get up a lot. They just don't sleep very much.
Did you say they're newborns?
I have a 3-year-old. Well, she's almost 3, and a 1-year-old. He'll be 1 in April.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they're kind of right around the terrible twos?
Yeah, they're on opposite sides of the terrible twos.
Are they realtors in training?
I don't think so.
No?
Well, I don't think so. No, well, because I guess to be a realtor, you have to care about other people. They seem very self-centered to me.
At this point in their life, they're still trying to figure it out, Don. Give them a chance, you know? You said you got started in 2004. What kind of got you into the business? How did that happen? Did you always want to be a realtor since you were 3, like your children?
I had a passion for it early. When my parents sold their first house, and I was, well, they didn't sell their first house. It was the first experience that I ever saw a real estate transaction, and they were trying to sell our house. And I said, why would you sell it? Let's keep it. Let's rent it. And that way we'll always have it, and you can just buy something else.
How old were you at this time?
8.
And you already knew about renting and everything?
But we had...
like, I can cash flow, guys. Let's get on to
really,
this.
that's what I was thinking. We, it was a duplex.
Okay.
So we had already rented out the second floor.
Okay.
And lived on the first floor. So my parents were landlords, and I just had an
so
idea
that was your
of that.
exposure to real estate and landlording and all that kind of thing?
Yeah.
And you said, let's keep it, and they said no?
Yeah, they said, we're done with landlording.
Okay.
So we ended up just they ended up just converting it to a single family because they were just done being landlords.
We converted into a single family, and then they sold it?
And then we stayed there for another 10 years or something.
Okay. So then fast forward 10 years later, now you're 18-ish, right? I'm not going to get into any numbers precisely. And now you're able, I guess, to get your real estate license. Did you just jump right in and get it, or did you do something else before this?
No, my undergraduate degree is in English and classical languages. So I was useless. I had no marketable skills, but I did end up teaching, which I was not really good at.
Okay.
I was at one of the best schools in St. Louis. I was at Kirkwood High School. I was surrounded by the best teachers. I had really good students, and I just realized this is not for me. If this place is so wonderful, it's just not me. So I needed to change and do something that suited me better.
Were you not motivated, or did you felt like you weren't motivating the students, or their scores weren't doing well, or why am I focusing on this negative?
I just didn't love it. Like, I'm the kind of person who, when I'm loving it, I will work all night long. And I just didn't love it.
Okay.
And so I was daydreaming I was living in Forest Park Southeast then, which looked very different than it looks now. And I was daydreaming every day about buying the properties and renovating them and doing community development.
Oh, wow.
And so I just realized, like, this is a really good environment. I don't want to teach. That's not what I want to do.
Okay.
I want to be in real estate. So I switched.
And, the reason you're here today is because your blog is one of the top-rated blogs in St. Louis. And so I guess you were able to sort of merge your love you must have had some sort of love for English language and writing and all that stuff. I'm guessing for you to major in that, and then you're able to merge that with your love for real estate.
Yeah, love, hate. I think it takes me forever to write those blogs. They're hard. They're meaty because it's like every time I run into a challenge, every time I get asked a new question, that's kind of what I use to blog about. So it's like I'm always researching and doing that stuff and taking what I'm learning sort of on the street and trying to synthesize it for myself as well as other people.
And that's one of the things I liked about your blog when I was looking through it, is that you're kind of answering questions that I think a lot of people have, but that a lot of real estate or in general websites don't answer. On your website, I saw something about urban planning. Are you an urban planner?
When I stopped teaching, I kept thinking about community development, and I wasn't thinking about real estate development. I was thinking about community development, but I had been in school for what seemed like forever to me. So I thought, I'm not going to quit my job and go back to school. I want to get experience on the ground. And it seemed like getting my real estate license was opening that door so that I could just see what happened at the street level. And then that opened up a whole new world, and the rest is history. I was just taken.
Okay. But so I guess so you're just saying you have an interest in urban planning.
Oh, no, I did. So after I was sort of on the ground doing helping buyers and sellers, that's when I said, okay, I really want to take the next step with my education. I just didn't want to go straight.
Oh, okay.
I didn't want to go back to school. I wanted to get some real world experience first. And then after I was in the business for about 3 years, I learned about the master's in planning at SLU. And I read the curriculum and I just said, I want to do it.
That's me. I gotta have it.
Yeah, I gotta have it. I don't know if I ever intended to stop being an agent, but I just felt like that knowledge, I didn't know which direction I was going to go really.
Okay.
But I did finish the master's there. And
oh, wow.
I mean,
good for you.
Yeah, it's great. I don't know that I use it every day, but I just feel like it informs the way I go about the city.
Well, let me ask what is probably a silly question, but kind of, if you don't mind answering, what is urban planning, and also how does that really apply to a city like St. Louis that seems basically developed? I picture urban planning like, hey, we've got this, what was Dubai 20 years ago? It was just a desert, right? And they sort of planned this area. What is urban planning, and how does it apply to St. Louis?
Well, okay, just specifically Gaslight Square. Gaslight
Sure.
Square was a great sort of city-sponsored, focused, and driven redevelopment of a derelict district.
Okay.
And so I feel like that happened because there was an urban planning impetus behind it. It's one of my favorite new developments in the city because I feel like there was just a lot of thought put into who developed it and how they developed it and what were the setback lines and how should this tie into the architecture around it versus some of the other developments in the city that were just purely developer driven.
Like profit driven kind of.
Mm-hmm. That
okay.
Maybe don't blend in as well with their surroundings. They didn't incorporate the neighborhood. They didn't think about the community and the integration within the city itself. And so the city was behind it, the alderman was behind it, the mayor was behind it. They attracted several developers. Each developer had criteria that they need to meet. Each development is different, and yet they blend really well together. And so I think that was a great example of urban planning on the city level.
It's a mix of architecture. It's a mix of kind of revitalizing an area. I guess it's a mix of giving people more places to live, and you even talked about setback lines and all that kind of stuff. They have to consider how it's going to look. Yeah,
and some of it was rental, some of it was commercial space, some of it was single family, and I just feel like having a plan is what made that really great.
Okay.
Versus it being strictly profit driven.
Is Gaslight Square larger than kind of Olive? So I have one of our agents lives in what I believe is Gaslight Square. I go to her house and I drive down, I think it's Washington. There's kind of some boarded up buildings and some new developments. And then I come around and I go down Olive, which I believe is where her house is on. And it's these really nice $400,000 houses. And I drive past this kind of busy looking boxing gyms and stuff like that. And I think that's Gaslight Square, isn't it? Yeah. And I think it's just those 3 or 4 blocks of Olive. Okay. But considering what it was before they got there and what it is now, I don't know. That's just one of my favorite. And it's a nice kind of like addition, I guess, to the Central West End.
Mm-hmm. So what is it? It's right between SLU and the Central West End.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So that's urban planning. It sounds interesting. Maybe I should go back and get my master's in urban planning too.
It was great.
SLU had a good program for it?
I really enjoyed it. I learned so much. They have a focus in community development, a focus in economic development, and then a focus in physical development.
Oh.
I just learned so much.
So you're a realtor and a successful realtor, and we do have some realtors that like to listen to the show. So I'm wanting to ask you, as a realtor, what would you say is working for you and what's not working for you?
What is working? Time blocking.
Really? You time block?
Is working. Well, maybe not quite as to the level that we're taught to time block, but don't take appointments in the morning. Don't go on showings in the morning. Use the morning time to do like the marketing or the planning or getting all the files together, like the sit down paperwork, like
stuff you have to do all the time.
Yeah, butt in seat time. Like making sure I'm in the seat to get the work done. And then that way, just knowing when I take a call sort of randomly, all right, I take appointments in the afternoon.
Okay. So do you go to the office every morning?
I work every day.
You work every day?
At the office. I cannot work at home.
And is that when you write your blogs is in the morning?
Yeah, I will do the majority of the blog writing in the morning or late at night from home.
And is this morning time that we're talking about, is this kind of more like business planning, business development, or if you have a deal that's blowing up, do you deal with that in the morning or do you kind of wait till the afternoon for that?
Hopefully it doesn't get to the point where it's blowing up, but yeah.
Sure.
File time is generally in the morning too.
Okay. Well, that's good because, I'm doing my hand in the air now, like the roller coaster thing that that most realtors seem to be on. And it's probably because they don't do that time blocking, right? Instead of taking time for themselves or for their business, they're spending all their time all day just dealing with their deals that they have going on. Any other hot tips?
Just being better about staying in touch in a more consistent and authentic way.
Okay. I don't know if you can even answer this, but what's not working?
Reading my email at stop signs.
That's not working?
That's not working. I've missed so many, or just not responded. Like I'll read the email, I'll think about the response, then by the time I get in front of a computer to respond,
you forget to respond.
I forget to respond.
Well, you just have to mark it as unread.
All right.
That's all I do. I read the email, mark
sign.
as unread. Yeah. And then follow up at the second stop sign. I'm curious, do you specialize in one area of town or one type of client? Do you only work on historical buildings, or would you help a buyer buy a property in Troy, Missouri? What's your focus?
I don't know. I mean, early on, I felt like I focused where I lived, which was South City. When I bought my first house, I knew I wanted a 2-story flat roof. Like that's what I knew. That's what I wanted. Okay. And now, like life has changed. Everything has changed, and now I want a nice mid-century ranch.
Okay.
With like a double-sided fireplace. And I just feel like as I grow and like my clients have done the same thing. When I started out, my clients were like me. We ran in the same circles. We knew the same people. We were into the same things. And now everybody kind of matriculates to the next stage.
Right.
And so now I'm all over. I'm wherever my clients need to be. Okay. I learn whatever my clients need me to learn.
You mix it up between buyers and sellers, I guess.
I do. Last year I went on maternity leave, and I had an assistant before that. As I was getting ready to go on maternity leave, we made sure that, and she had been with me for almost a year, and so we made sure that she had a real estate license. Okay. So she got her license in January. We did pretty intensive training, and then when I went on maternity leave, she took all of our buyer clients. Okay. So maternity leave, in quotes, for a realtor.
Like I took 2 days maternity leave.
Just means that I probably wasn't going on a lot of new business appointments. I wasn't meeting a lot of new people, and I wasn't going out and showing houses.
Especially working with buyers can be more time consuming, I guess. Very educational for us, right? But kind of can take a little bit more time. This thing about the mid-century moderns, you're into those too? It seems like everyone, all the cool people, all the hip people are into mid-century moderns.
I don't know. I love them. I love the idea. I mean, I live in a 2.5-story brick home by Tower Grove Park, and man, I sometimes going up and down those stairs is the only exercise I get, but I'm willing to trade that in for one level living. And I would love a wood-burning fireplace.
So you're not necessarily going to keep the like kind of olive green stove and olive green countertops and all that
I
stuff.
don't know.
You might. Do
I
that
might.
too.
It depends on what kind of shape they're in. I might take them off and spray paint them.
Okay. Good. Okay. So you just mentioned that you have an assistant.
Yes.
And I'm really, really always encouraging our realtors here and any realtor I talk to get an assistant. Did you get one up front? Did you get one after you've been in the business a few years? If you had to do it over, would you have gotten one earlier? Just kind of talk about an assistant from a business perspective for the realtors that are listening.
I definitely would have done it earlier.
Okay.
I waited a really long time. It's just hard to let go. It feels much safer to be in control of every aspect of every file. But then I started realizing that my clients would have better service if certain things were delegated to someone else.
Uh-huh.
Finding that person was its own challenge.
Right.
Because I didn't really know how to interview or what to say or how to hire anyone. I didn't have those systems in place. So early on, when I finally got the assistant, we were kind of winging it. I feel like I got really lucky. My first assistant was fantastic and was willing to work with me face-to-face he sort of had his own thing that he wanted to do. So the hours that I wanted to be face-to-face, he was totally fine with that.
Okay.
And he didn't need a lot of hours because he also had this other thing.
So you didn't start out with a 40-an-hour-a-week person.
No. And it just ended up being just a great fit. Finally, when he realized that he would like to make a living wage, he said, I found a great job. It's perfect for me, which was really he found the perfect job for him. And I said, congratulations, please go find your replacement.
Oh, really?
And he did.
So he kind of put in 2 weeks, and his last 2 weeks was to find a replacement?
Mm-hmm. And then he stayed around long enough to, train her in the things that he had been doing. So, wow. I mean, it was really...
You did luck out.
I was very, very lucky.
Are you on your second assistant now?
Third, because the second assistant transitioned into a buyer's agent.
There you go. On each one, I guess you learn more and more basically how you like to relate to an assistant, right? And what you want them to do and how you communicate with them. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So your second one, you have a buyer's agent on your team now?
I do. She is on my team.
So it's the Dawn Griffin team?
Yeah, I think we're the group now. The Dawn
Griffin group.
Yeah, we're trying to rebrand just a little bit.
I want to drive this home because, like I said, I'm always like, get an assistant, people, and they don't want to do it. And so you would recommend it? Absolutely.
There are so many things. So I want to send birthday cards to my clients.
Right.
I want to do that. I've wanted to do that forever.
Uh-huh.
This year, it's done. We did it. I made sure I have everybody's information in my phone. Like, I'm ready to go. Everyone's getting a birthday card.
Yes.
But it was those simple things that weren't getting done.
Yeah, because you have to focus on the kind of the fires, right?
Yeah. Building inspections and meeting contractors.
Okay, good for you. Let's talk about the market a little bit.
Okay.
So do you still work with buyers at all?
I do. My buyer agent is going on maternity leave.
Oh my gosh. Well, she gets 2 days off, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
2 days off. Okay, so you still work with some buyers and talking about the market, what we're seeing is like low inventory, that type of thing. Are you having any trouble finding buyers' property now?
Absolutely.
You are?
Absolutely. Are you?
I am.
Okay.
But that's what I was going to see. Do you have any hot tips for people who have their realtor working with a buyer or a buyer that's listening that's like, oh my gosh, every open house I go to, there's 20 other people there and the realtor tells me they've got multiple offers. Are we ever going to find anything? What do you say to that?
Yes, we are going to find something. Yes, absolutely. I think it's kind of two-pronged. One, if you're in a hot area, you just have to get your ducks in a row and be ready to pounce.
Right.
And be ready to write.
Ducks in a row meaning talk to your lender.
Talk to your lender. If you have a house to sell, make sure it's sold.
Know what you want.
Know what you want. Know what? I still have people who will lose in a multiple offer situation because they won't write full asking or over.
Because they still think it's 2009.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
It's not 2009.
No, this is so different. It's really hard to get used to. I mean, from your perspective, are you?
Right. So, yeah, when I started in the business, when I really got into it, it was kind of, I guess I've never been in the business when it was as kind of strong, I guess, as a seller's market as it is now. And everyone always talked about it's a bad market. But I'm like, it's great for the buyers,
Mm-hmm.
And now it's supposed to be a great market, but it's kind of great for sellers, not as great for buyers, And so I'm having the same situation. But have you done anything creative to try to find houses for your buyers, or do you just that one comes on the market and you find it?
Absolutely. Everyone is on a portal. Everyone is watching immediately. I'd say, 50, no, more than that. Probably 75% of the time, my clients will see the new listing before I will because they are watching. They are really watching. And then they'll call me and say, this is it. We got to go. It's hot. But what I've done and what I haven't done is so much more agent to agent talking. What do you have coming up?
Right.
We didn't, I don't know if you did. I never did that really before. I never had to go to the agent and say, what do you have coming? What do you have coming? Especially to the agents who are particularly known for a specific area.
Right, exactly.
And say, please tell me what you have coming. Please tell me what's on your list. And so it's a lot more agent to agent talking than I feel like it used to be in the past when we could rely simply on the MLS.
So you're seeing the value in kind of having a relationship with other agents when a lot of the agents nowadays, especially the younger agents, don't really understand why should I talk to these other realtors? They're my enemy, right?
No, yeah.
But they're not your enemy.
It takes a long time to learn that. Or it might take one good year. Or one bad year.
I've had a lot of luck calling. I've had buyers looking like in South City, right? And I'll call Angela Kittner and I'll be like, hey, what do you got coming up? And she's like, we can go look at this one. You can go look at this one. You can go look at this one. I'm like, this is great. I love this. And it's because I called her, and there's a lot of experts in the areas. And so. Yeah.
Yeah. Much more beneficial than waiting.
Have you ever tried anything else like mailing an area and saying, hey, please, gosh, I've got a buyer?
I haven't, but I have this really cute family and they want to be in an area that is this big. So I don't know how to describe that, but it's this big. That's all that they want to be in. And I just feel like if I walked around with them and knocked on the door and said, look at this cute family. If I look through the tax records, who's been here 20, 25 years, look at this cute family.
That's the kind of thing that's awesome to have an assistant, right? Because you can say, look through this area that's this big and give me this kind of information, when it'd be hard for you probably to sit down and spend the 5 hours or whatever that it might take to do all that. I've tried the mailing and all that kind of stuff, and it sort of works. Not really. Tell me,
has anyone called you? Have you done it?
I have done it, and they've called, and not to sound too negative, but they're like most for sale by owners. That the people that have called me in general are like most for sale by owners, and they're a little bit unrealistic about their price. One was really unrealistic. It probably should have been $250. She was like, I think it's worth $450. I'm like, oh, great.
Not a match.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us what areas you have someone looking for in case there's a seller listening that can give you a call?
Greenbrier in Kirkwood.
Greenbrier?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're golfers, I guess?
Not really. They are not. But they have some friends that live in the area. The grandparents are about half a mile away.
Okay. I would think you could probably find some people that are looking to sell there.
Yeah. It does seem like they've been there a while.
You'll do it. And any Greenbrier home sellers listening, give Dawn a call. We'll have her phone number at the end here. I want to talk to you a little bit about your blog.
Okay.
We chatted about this a little bit already, but I know your blog entries are very detailed. Or you said that you spend a lot of time on them and kind of make sure that they're perfect, it sounds like. So one of my questions was, do you write them yourself? But you've already answered that.
I almost always write them myself. I've asked a couple lender partners. We have lenders who come to our Tuesday meetings, and every now and then they'll just deliver this just beautiful nugget of information. And it's like,
I want that.
Yeah, I want that. Can you write about that? So I've had lender partners do it. And most recently, the blog post about 27 Crosswinds, which is a new listing that I have, was written by my assistant.
Nice.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. Because then I just got 3 hours of my life back to, talk with clients or work on files or, do something else, because those blog posts take forever. Especially
yours, because it looks like you have pictures on there and you kind of drawn maps and you had like routes to different places and all sorts of interesting stuff. Yeah. The one that you wrote about, I think it was how to handle multiple offer situations or how to get your multiple offer noticed, right?
Yeah.
Is this kind of thing, this is your inspiration, right? You must have been in a situation like that and you came up with something cool to do?
Yeah. I mean, that's where all the inspiration comes from, is day-to-day business. Like, we're just learning every day, right? Every day I'm learning something. I haven't been on every street in the city yet, so it's Every day I'm learning something. Or when I'm getting asked questions that I don't already know the answer to. You know, those types of things. Or the research that we do for clients that they never see. You know, like researching all the comps, trying to figure out how to help a seller get to the best list price. Or planning a route for an out-of-town buyer. You know, all that research that no one sees us do. They make great blog posts.
Yeah, that's true. So I guess I'm curious, do you get much business from your blog? If that's even okay for me to ask. If you don't want to answer, that's all right.
Oh, no, it's fine. It's kind of hard to track, I guess, because I don't always ask where the business comes from. I probably can do a better job of it this year. There was one year before the babies came where I did track it, and it seemed like 30% of the people were coming from the blog somehow. You know, I don't ever know what their first point of contact is with me, but there are people who've never met me and they've not been referred by a past client or someone that I know. And ultimately they find the blog and they read it and they're like,
this girl's great.
This makes sense. Like we don't mind spending 8 hours or 10 hours or 18 hours trapped in a car with her. Like she will get us. She won't think we're crazy.
I guess you can probably tell the difference between a sign call and someone who calls off your blog.
Yeah.
The sign call, they're like, how much is it? Okay, gotta go, right? And off your blog, they're like, oh my gosh, we're so sorry to take your time. You're like a celebrity to us now, right? Because we read your stuff and we love it.
I think they know. I just remember being in the grocery store one day and I answered the phone and he's like, I read your blog. I think we're on the same page. I'm moving from California. And
that's awesome.
Yeah. He said, do you want to help me? I said, absolutely.
You're like, I don't know. Do you have a blog I can read so I can find out if I like you or not? Okay, that's neat. So, but we don't really want to encourage all the other agents to start writing blogs, right? So,
I don't know. Why not? Then we all sort of attract.
We can attract the people who fit our personalities, right? And that's true. If every realtor would write a blog, then it would teach you about their personality and kind of, are they honest? Are they upfront? Are they cutting corners? That kind of stuff. Do you want to give a shout out to anyone for helping you make your website?
J. David.
J. David?
J. David with Toki Branding and Design.
Okay. Is Toki a local company?
Yeah, it is. They do branding and design for universities, architects. They worked with the Pulitzer Art Museum. They worked with WashU. Yeah.
Okay.
They worked with HOK.
That explains why it looks so good.
Yeah, I did not design that.
I've got my 5 questions that I ask everyone, but before we jump into that, I'm going to just ask you one more. What is the best phone call you could get?
Let's see. We walked through your open house on Sunday. We put together a full price offer, not contingent upon anything at all. Okay. We don't even need to do inspections. Would you take it? What's your seller's ideal closing time?
Right. We do have a briefcase of cash right here.
We can pay cash today.
Okay. That's a good answer. That's a good answer because you're really still looking out for your client there, your seller client. I like that. That's good. All right. So my 5 questions.
Oh, I read those.
You did?
I did. I peeked at those. Those are hard.
Well, we'll start with an easy one. Who lives under your roof?
My husband, J. David. My daughter, Josie Scout David. And my son, Wyatt Griffin David. Our 10-year-old German Shepherd, Cooper, and me. You
have a 10-year-old German Shepherd?
Mm-hmm.
Does he have hip problems?
No, he's great. He's
really?
doing great.
That's good.
He doesn't get the attention he deserves, but he is doing just fine.
Well, I'm sure the kids running around keeps him kind of intrigued, at least.
Keeps him moving from one sofa to the other.
Well, if you do move to your new house that's all on one level with the fireplace and a big backyard, I'm sure. What's the dog's name?
Cooper.
Cooper will love it. And this is kind of a hard one. I don't exactly give you a direction here, but where are you your best?
In the field, honestly. Just doing the work, like finding the right price to list at, figuring out the marketing path, or vice versa, like negotiating the offer, being with the buyer and helping them, counseling them. They have so many thoughts going on. Mm-hmm. What is really their best route? They have all these options to choose from, and just in the counseling mode of the job is my favorite part of the job. You feel really, really
comfortable talking about real estate with a client.
Yeah. How
much property's worth, what the neighborhood's like, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. I told one of my friends, I was like, I'm actually really shy. She's like, you're in sales. I said, no. I said, I'm great in a car, one-on-one, talking with a person about this thing that I know about. Uh-huh. I was like, not so great at parties.
Well, I think a lot of people think of realtors as being in sales, and it seems like your personality type is kind of like mine in that we're not really selling. I mean, do you feel like you're selling anything? Like, hey, buyer, get in my car. I'm going to get you to sign a contract today. You know, it's.
I feel like there's one point of sale, and that's when you like go and meet a homeowner who's interviewing you for a job, and you have to sell yourself.
Selling yourself.
I feel like that's the sale. And then once they realize that you know what you're talking about, then it stops being a sale and it just starts being a conversation.
And with your blog, and if they've seen your signs or seen your website or any of that stuff, you probably have a lot easier time selling yourself, because I'm guessing that you show up and they pretty much already know they want to list with you. Maybe.
I don't know.
And that would be the best phone call.
Not everybody
right?
reads.
Yeah, not everybody reads the blog. What is your guilty pleasure?
Tabloids.
Tabloids?
Mm-hmm. A grocery store checkout line.
Like you like to know all the gossip and stuff like that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did Bruce Jenner really tell his daughters that he's going to become a woman? I mean, that's what they say.
I was standing in the checkout line. My husband was paying. He was like doing the work. I was like, is this true? Jay, is this true? You're on Reddit all the time. Is this true?
That he told him? I don't know.
And he was like, he just looked at me like, you are crazy. Put that down. But yeah.
Okay. Do you have any favorite celebrities you like to follow, or
No, man. Whoever was on the cover.
whoever's on the cover? Do you actually buy them?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
I just, which
There's
is probably worse,
somebody
right?
must.
It's probably worse that I don't buy them because I devour them and then I don't pay for them.
Well, that's okay. So that's a good guilty pleasure. Tell me this: your favorite either blog or podcast, other than your own.
So, on long car rides.
Okay.
My husband will fill up the phone, and I don't ever really discover anything on my own, but I have discovered through him the hardcore history.
It's called Hardcore History.
Hardcore
it's a podcast?
History, yeah, by Dan Carlin, and I love it.
What do they talk about?
Anything. I think one of my favorites was about Genghis Khan and like the steppe people. That's what I think it was called, the steppe people. So I mean, it's just really it's in depth. He's a great storyteller, and you can just tell that he is reading book after book after book about the subject. So it's like going to history class in college.
And is every podcast a different subject?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they really range from like ancient Rome to World War II.
So he gets into it hardcore for every single one.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Cool. Who is your mentor, and how have you thanked them?
Oh.
Do you have a mentor?
I don't.
Did anyone teach you kind of about real estate?
I mean, not really. I mean, I've had some really good brokers. I've met some really good agents. Mm-hmm. I hired a coach once early on, but I didn't. Probably wasted that opportunity.
Okay. Or have you ever had like an accountability partner?
I did once have an agent in the office, and we met once a week and just said, what are the things you are going to accomplish this week? And then we met every week and talked about them. And just doing that was enough to
kind of keep you motivated. Mm-hmm. I guess you either have it or you don't. So my question about how have you thanked them probably isn't applicable, really, unless...
I don't know. I feel like there are lots of unthanked people.
Right. Tell us how the listeners can find you.
Let's see. DawnGriffin.com is the website, and the blog is there. The phone number is 314-413-7086 for any of you in Greenbrier who are ready to sell. An email is dawn@dawngriffin.com. DawnGriffin.
Dawn@dawngriffin.com. Give her a call or shoot her an email for all your real estate needs. Thank you, Dawn. I hope that was relatively painless. Check out our website, and we'll have more information from today's podcast, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.
Thank you.